My name is Josh Maloney, and I'll be conducting my interview for our leadership class. With me here today is my stepfather. Um, Mike, if you could please tell us your, uh, your name, or just give us a little introduction of who you are and where you work.
Sure. My name's Mike Longman. Been a police officer nearly 40 years. Spent 34 years with Arizona Department of Public Safety. Was a police chief up in Colorado at a university, and have been with the Maricopa Community College District for just about 4 years as the chief of police and director of public safety.
And you've been in that position for 4 years. Can you tell us a little bit about how difficult it was to come in and change the culture there at Maricopa Community College?
Sure, that's a great question. Maricopa Community Colleges is somewhat unique. There are 10 independently accredited colleges, and the way the district grew up is each one of the colleges has its own culture. Many of them are very autonomous. But along with that, the public safety departments grew up autonomous. So there was no centralized command and control. And I was specifically hired to be a change agent. There had been a rather critical audit done on a number of different things, but one of them was on public safety related services. So I had great support from my administration and some mandates from my administration to consolidate all 10 college public safety units and create a unified police department. So big challenge when you think that for years each one of the colleges had a public safety chief, and now I'm the chief and they've been relegated to a lower level of authority.
How have you challenged the status quo within that structure, and how has it been received?
Well, one of the problems when you have 10 independent different public safety units in one organization is there was no standardization, no standardized policies and procedures, no standardized records management systems, no centralized and standard radio communications. So that took a substantial investment from the administration to implement those kind of things. And it's not easy. Change is tough. So really what you got to do is you have to engage the members of the department. And what I have found throughout my career is generally if people know why we're doing things, and if you and you believe it and you convey that their opinion and the things they're suggesting add value, usually you can be successful. But you really have to engage the constituents within your department if you're going to try and make some substantial change.
So you definitely got feedback from your uh, from your employees on what you were doing and what they had done previously to really unify that vision and get cooperation among everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's something that leaders find, and sometimes we learn it the hard way, where when you're coming into a new organization, and in this case, I had a mandate on what the administration wanted done. But you don't want to come in and portray that what everybody has been doing was wrong. So you really have to package that we're moving into the future. We're in a different day and age on what it takes to keep a college community safe and secure. So really, some of the things early on we talked about is what is our mission. We know we're in the education business, so for us as a police department and a public safety department, we needed to talk about what do we do that adds value to the educational mission. And pretty early on, when you have your employees that are thinking about that, and I think it's somewhat amusing because I remember somebody brought up Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you recall, at the very bottom rung, it's just your basic physiological needs. And until those are met, nothing else matters. And once those are met, the next level was safety needs, safety and security. And education and the self-fulfillment, those are at much higher level. So when we put it in those aspects, what we do as a collegiate police department absolutely contributes to the educational mission. because it's difficult to learn, and it's difficult to work at an institution if you don't feel safe. So that was really an interesting thing. Once we understood that we were an integral and really a vital part of the educational mission.
How do you recognize and notice your staff for their achievement of what the goals are, and just recognize them from the hard work that they've done in this environment? Or since you've taken over, how have you done that?
And I think that's a really an old leadership philosophy, is that you praise in public, and if you have to correct people, you do it in private. And what I found throughout my career is employees are starved for feedback, and so anytime, and you have to be timely. So when people do good things, and particularly if they go above and beyond what their normal duties are, you need to recognize that. You need to recognize that in front of their peers. One of the challenges you have, though, is what motivates us is different amongst different people. So you have to know your employees too, because where I might think that it would be a really great thing to recognize one of my employees in front of his peers, that may not be what that person really wants. So and it's tough when you have a lot of employees that work for you, and trying to know, what motivates them. Why do they do what they do? How do you keep them engaged? But what I find is, if you're really sincere and you're timely,
Thank you for your time. What you've said is definitely rung true through everything we've studied during this course. So
good.
thank you very much.